BobbyFi here. Obviously, as you can probably hear from my voice, I don't know what's going on, but I can't seem to shake this, whatever it is. I thought I was rid of it. I felt great for a couple days, and then for whatever reason, it's come back with a vengeance and feeling worse than ever. So, plan is we'll be live with you at 6, but I'll just go through my early thoughts on the slate myself. Sheets is not going to be here this morning, again, I think I'll be there at 6, but I'm a little banged up, and it actually really hurts to talk. So I'm going to try and get this through this one as best as I can. Real quick, while I'm doing this, I'm going to just remind everybody we have that 1099 deal going on. If you wanted to check out everything that with the Saber Sim, with the TrueDFS plus Saber Sim Ultimate pack for $10.99 for 3 days, it'll give you just a good idea going into football season. I think Saber Sim is obviously an incredible tool. Sheets has obviously crushed everything in his projections. With Saber Sim seem to be the magic formula, along with Goldies, and then you get all my content, Roadies, Brandon Cruz, all that stuff. And yeah, check it out if you get a chance. Anyway, getting into the games, I'm looking at the weather right now. I'm sorry I'm a little behind. Again, it's been a rough morning. All right, yeah, this is what I thought. I know this game's a little iffy. We'll probably have a better feel for it later. As of right now, I always say shout out to Roth because he's the best in the biz, and he has got it yellow-orange right now, so probably is going to be okay, but we'll have to wait closer to game time to figure that out. It's very relevant because Nestor Cortez is going to be one of the most popular pitchers on the slate, and I think for fairly good reason against this Angel team. The matchup is pretty good. It's not a strong, terrifying lineup. Cortez is all over the place a little bit. I don't always feel like super secure with him, but we don't have a lot of options. He's 7,900 on this slate. Then you have the Yankees as one of the most popular stacks on the slate, possibly the most popular. So it's obviously important what happens with the weather. Obviously, you guys know my rule. I just think you're giving up too much unless you're max entering a tournament to play a 5-man stack of anything that's going to be the chalk on the slate. I just think there's almost no way to win if you do that. You can do it in single entry sometimes. Even still on a 5-gamer, I will play some Yankees, but I would definitely be way lower on them than the field. And I actually, if in the interest of getting contrarian, I think that it makes some sense to take a shot against Cortez. I mean, look, he's going to be at one of the chalk pitchers. The good leverage matters a lot more on these small slates than the big ones. So I think we want to get some exposure here. Whether or not you want to fully stack, I'll just mention again, I don't think you need to fully stack on 5-game slates. I would have Adele and Ohapi probably as my favorite. I guess Nito as well. Probably those would be my 3 favorite bats. But I don't mind I don't even mind if you wanted to go full stack in that route. I think it makes plenty of sense to. All right, let's take a quick look. I'm just gonna take a look at the weather in this game, see if we're getting any sort of uplift. Again, usually I'd be a little bit more prepared. But just again, it's not been my favorite day. All right. Well, we're obviously not going to get weather in this one, so it's in Toronto. That's how out of it I am. Gaussman and Kremer. It is weird to see Gaussman all of a sudden popular when he's been unowned and pretty ineffective for most of the season. He had a great start, a couple starts ago against Texas, but just got crushed his last time out against the Yankees. I think this is an argument for a 4-pronger, as Sheets would say. I think you could make a case for Gaussman. I think you can make a case for Kremer, and I'm fine with either of them. Let's just see where they stand on the K expected C side of things right here. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep going through with it. So you've got Gaussman at 5.7. That's a little low on Kremer, but yeah, I think they're both viable just because we have to choose somebody. I don't love the idea of trying to pick on Baltimore. You guys hear me say that a lot. I like the idea of the Baltimore lefties against Gaussman in some spots. So I would probably take that shot where they're going to be lower owned than I think they should be on a 5-game slate. So I actually like the Baltimore side a little bit better than the Toronto side. Toronto, I do think will get a little bit more ownership, but still going to be pretty low. So you certainly have some cheap options you could use depending on where they hit. We've had Clement batting second recently. You've got Kirk, who's probably going to bat in the top 5 at 2,900. I think those are totally reasonable. But the lefties for Baltimore, Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, Santander, the switch hitter, even Rushman is better from the right side, but still, I would Kauser. It's a good lineup to face Gaussman. So I like the idea of getting to some Baltimore, whether it's full stacks or just some of those individual lefty bats. All right, let's move it over to I got a never mind and already. That's all I got in chat so far is a never mind. I'm wondering, you know what? If I know that like people just don't care about baseball at first looks, I'm starting to wonder if we should just cancel them. Guys, let me know what you think. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense if people don't watch them. We've got a lot of things to do, and I'm happy to do it with you guys. I love it when we have people there, but just hasn't been the same. So started off the season with a lot more interest in the live shows. You know, there's people in there. People watch it throughout the day sometimes, but it's really died down. And I'm just wondering if we even bother with the morning stuff going forward for the rest of the MLB season. Let me know what you guys think in the Discord. I'm interested in anybody's thoughts because it doesn't seem to be something anybody's really paying attention to, except for me and Sheets. But anyway, moving on over to Tampa Bay and Baltimore. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay and St. Louis. Kyle Gibson and Baz. On this slate, I think Kyle Gibson's viable. It's not going to be fun, and I'm going to guess his K-prop. Oh, it's actually a little higher than I thought, 5.25, or not K-prop, K expectancy. I think you can make an argument for either of these pitchers, and I think you can make an argument for either of these stacks. For whatever reason, I'm not getting to any of this. They're not owned, though. Like, I've messed around with a few things, and like pre-show, and I don't know why I wasn't getting to any of this. So maybe this is one spot that I overlooked. It is 85 degrees in St. Louis. There's some wind coming in from the left, but a little bit more across the field. And neither of these guys is unhittable. You do have one of the lower totals in the slate. There's other spots that maybe people are gonna want to attack. But personally, you know, it didn't stand out to me. But maybe just from a game theory perspective, we should at least consider it. It's only, you know, look, we only have the 5 games here, so not a whole lot of options on today's slate. All right. Moving over, Jordan Montgomery and Colby Allard. I don't think that these pitchers are especially viable. I think that there is, maybe you can make a large field case for Jordan Montgomery on this kind of a slate, but it's just not for me personally. Not especially interested in that at all. Philadelphia just leaving LA after a pretty good series they had out there. They're going to be pretty popular. I personally would prefer the Arizona side in this matchup. But I certainly understand that Phillies crush lefties. It makes sense. I like them better than the Yankees, but I don't like them as much as maybe the field does. So I try to be underweight Philadelphia, overweight Arizona. I'm leaning more and more towards like Arizona, Baltimore pieces, and maybe the Angels being sort of like the things I go with hitting wise. All right, well, here is the spot people are definitely going to attack. I think Wu may end up being the most popular pitcher on the slate by the end of it. He's 9K, so it is whatever. But you have a 2.8 total for the Tigers. And then you've got Maeda on the other side. If it is Maeda, by the way, I've got different pitchers. I don't even know who we're talking about. So, like, yeah, I think they changed it. I don't think it's, wow, is it Maeda now? Because I've got it as Fado. So just keep an eye out for who actually ends up starting, because whoever it is going to I mean, Fado's going to just pitch an inning, but I guess Maeda just goes long relief. Is that what they're doing? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with this one. We're going to have to wait till later in the day to see that. That's another thing I hate about the baseball. Again, with weather and things, just can't really give a full, accurate depiction. Most things don't change like drastically, but like it's just with the weather, with even knowing who's pitching, those are things that are helpful. And then whoever it is pitching, whether it's Maeda, Fado, basically the Detroit could throw anybody outside of Skubal who pitched last night, and I would be very interested in Seattle. So actually, as a full stack, I think that's what I would get to the most on this slate would be a Seattle full stack. That's where I'm at. Seattle's my favorite. I like pieces from the Angels to get different. I like pieces from Baltimore, but they would be my second favorite stack. And then I think that maybe this is the game that gets ignored, this Tampa Bay St. Louis game. Pitching wise, look, not a bunch of things to like. I don't mind eating chalk pitching. If I had to get creative with any of the pitchers, it would probably be Kremer. Not in love with it. Gibson is fine. I think I would probably look for the upside and probably focus more on what Wu and then Cortez, where I'm not using Angels. Wu and probably Gibson would be the next one. But really, we need to see who's pitching for the Tigers tonight because that's going to dictate a lot of this. Anyway, I appreciate that, Temming. Thanks for the kind words. I just sort of wanted to have the conversation, because we're trying to make a lot of great changes to the site, adding some people and stuff for football season. And we've done a lot of great things that I feel like aren't getting noticed as well. And I love doing these shows, but I wonder sometimes could our effort be, maybe occasionally skipping them or having a day where we just do the main slate. Today probably would have been the right day to do it. But I appreciate the positive feedback. So we'll try to keep getting them out there for you. The plan of right now is to continue and go ahead. I just wanted to bring it up as a possibility. Just as the season's worn on, I've noticed that the waning interest, and that's happened. I used to work for Roto Grinders, and it would literally be like, 1/4 of the people that were there at the beginning of the year that started for baseball. For other sports like basketball and basketball, people get too frustrated at the end of the year too. But and I get why. But for football, like you can usually growing by the end of the year. So it's kind of a little bit different with baseball. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my cough medicine and try and get some sleep. And gonna say good luck to everybody if you played the morning slate. Hopefully you guys do well in the evening slate as well. I'm gonna try and join you, but probably gonna let Sheets do most of the